Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is January 15th, and right now we're looking at the visible/infrared satellite imagery here. You can see the low pressure system moving up the Oregon and Washington coastline. It is weakening here, but it will bring some prolonged precipitation across western Oregon, Washington, into southwest BC through the day tomorrow. We'll take a look at some of those details coming up here. Some winter weather conditions across the Oregon Cascades, probably going to extend upwards towards Washington too as we go as this low pressure system moves north. And a strong frontal system will move through midweek here, mainly up into western BC, just north of Vancouver Island, but it's going to cast a fairly strong front down through the region. We'll take a look at that as well. We'll also take a look at the extended forecast also, as it looks like we may start to turn colder here towards the end of the month of January. No promises just yet. It's just a signal. It's way out there. It's still fantasy land at this point, but we will take a look at it. Now, looking at this, as of today, we're gaining 2 minutes of daylight, and then thereafter we will be gaining over 2 minutes of daylight per day. And I know I like to see these days get longer as we go on in through these winter days towards the early portion of spring here. So very nice, something to look forward to there. Looking at SeaTac yesterday, 59 record high we set yesterday, and we're not doing too bad precipitation-wise, but we still are a bit below average. No incredibly rainy days here so far this month. And you can see these warm temperatures we've been dealing with so far through the first half of January. This may change as we move towards the later portion of January right now, but we'll continue to watch that day by day. This is the NAM 3KM. Let's back up there, and you can see this upper level low spinning western Oregon, then eventually western Washington, then eventually southwest BC. Kind of a slow moving system here, just bringing precipitation as we go on in through Monday morning shown here. But you can see, there's going to be some fairly decent amounts here. There's an excessive rainfall outlook for this area here. We'll take a look at that here in a moment as well before the system finally moves up and out of the region here and going off into the extent a little bit more. You can see the leading edge of that stronger frontal system out here across Pacific Ocean. We'll take a look at that here in a moment as well. Now, this is just kind of a friendly reminder here that when you go east of the Cascades, you're dealing with thawing and then refreezing of any moisture that might be on the roadway surfaces out there. So heads up for black ice. You can see some of these chilly temperatures across eastern Washington down through Oregon, the higher terrain especially, even through Idaho, Montana as well. Some pretty chilly temperatures coming up here for places in the higher terrain for southwest BC and Idaho as well. So watch out for that black ice out there. This was put out by Missoula, Montana. It is a killer out there. It does get people every single year, and it's one of the most dangerous aspects of weather. So watch out for black ice. Be aware of when that temperature falls below freezing overnight, especially into those early morning hours when you start getting up and driving around. Now taking a look here, this is the 10-day Euro. This is that first system here. And then the stronger frontal system moves through there as we go through midweek coming up. Then a bit of ridging here, but it doesn't hang out too long as we get some systems riding over the top there and here on through the extended. That would be a stronger system, possible convergent zone activity, and some interesting weather could be coming up with that system there. But it's gonna be low confidence right now. We'll continue to watch that day by day. And you can see there's no real big pattern change yet showing up in the 10-day period other than this high developing here. And then we would need it to retrograde back a little bit here and to allow the colder air to move down to the region. We'll take a look at that in some of the extended runs here in a moment. Now this is looking at sea level pressure. Here goes that current low pressure system right on the Oregon-Washington coastline. You can see it fill, move north and weaken there. And then you see that next frontal system move across as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday shown there. Then we start to get some ridging behind that. But this is as far as the 06Z, the 10 p.m. last night European run goes here. But we are going to build a little bit of ridging here, but there's potential for systems riding up over the top of that here for the Pacific Northwest. Continued precipitation chances as well. This is looking at the GFS here. I want to just kind of show you what's coming here on Tuesday. You can see those winds moving towards western BC, Haida Gwaii there, north tip of Vancouver Island, moves down the Washington, Oregon coast, gusts maybe to 50 for the high end there. And the European has a bit more blustery winds across the region here. It's just GFS calling for something around 30 miles per hour SeaTac. It's probably going to be underdoing it a little bit there, but you can see the bigger impacts here along north portion of Vancouver Island, western BC with that frontal system, but it will bring a blustery front through the region with some moderate heavy precip at times as well. This is the European kind of showing that frontal system here. You can see kind of a mixed bag of readings there. The ensemble mean only into the low 30s here, so nothing too impressive coming across there. This is Quileute, northwest Washington coast, of course. Here you can see some blustery conditions into the mid 40s here, and the Euro's been underdoing these speeds here all the way down through California. It's kind of been underdoing some of these wind events that have been moving across the region here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some gusts in the upper 40s towards 50 miles per hour for Quileute with this frontal system as it passes on the day. Wednesday, a Tuesday night, probably on and through Wednesday morning. This is Tofino, Long Beach Airport there on Vancouver Island. This is in kilometers per hour here too, so probably some gusts up around the mid 40s to 50 miles per hour as well. And if you go further north, up into western BC, north of Vancouver Island, the Boat Bluff Lighthouse helipad up there, you can see that there are some pretty good winds coming up there, but that is, people are few and far between up there, but just kind of pointing out where this system strength is going to lie. Now, this is days 1 through 3 overall winter storm impacts here. You can see that not too bad for the pass areas. Some limited or minor impacts probable across the area. Same thing for Oregon there too as well, even though there are some winter weather advisories there, as you can see here. Now, taking a look here, 6 to 10 day precipitation probability outlook. You can see the ridging is going to kind of be in place here on the west coast, and it's going to bring some drier than normal conditions probably here towards the end of January, as we're going to turn the flow a little bit more northwesterly, as we've been talking about here, with potentially cooler pattern, which means less precipitation here across the Pacific Northwest. Now, let's take a look at that here. This is last night's European run. Put this into motion. You can see that low pressure kind of filling, moving up. And some of this has already fallen here. I should point out across western Oregon to the coastal range. As we go up towards Portland, you can see Seattle piling it on through tomorrow as well. Southwest BC is the slow fills and weekends. Then that frontal system makes its way towards Vancouver Island here. You can see it coming across the Puget Sound there as we go on through the morning Wednesday down through Willamette Valley. So it's not too bad. Seattle expecting about 1.3 inches of rain as we go through, what is that, about Wednesday afternoon here. But you can see most of that precip is going to be Cascades West here. Some of the areas northeast Washington and the Rockies of BC here, and some of the higher terrain Idaho not doing too bad precipitation wise though. And then you can see some additional systems on through the extended here. The following week, another system fairly wet here. Put Seattle up towards 3 inches here in the 10-day period. But we'll continue to watch those day by day as we go. This is the day one excessive rainfall outlook with that low pressure system kind of slow moving up the coastline there. Mainly portions Olympia, down the I-5 corridor, out towards the Washington, Oregon coastline on through the day today. Landslide index, nothing has really changed here. Everett continues to creep a little bit below the threshold here. So it might bump it up a little bit here with this low pressure system. We'll see how much that drops for Everett here, and we'll check this tomorrow. Now, this is looking at total snow over the next 90 hours here. You can see they have the winter weather advisory here for the Cascades of Oregon, and they might extend some of this for portions of Washington too, but it might not also, because you got Snoqualmie Pass not getting too much snow. Maybe a couple, 2, 3, 4 inches out of that. A little bit more for Stevens Pass. And as we go out through the 90-hour period, though, then you could be dealing with some more precipitation here as that frontal system moves through on the day Wednesday. That might bring some snow to the pass, Snoqualmie and Stevens as well. So heads up for that as we go through midweek, some winter driving conditions across the Cascade Passes here. And this is just talking about be prepared for winter travel conditions in the Cascades on Sunday. This is National Weather Service Portland here, kind of talking about the highways here. Now looking at the avalanche forecast here, you can see it's been dropped down to moderates. This is good news for backcountry sportsmen out there, snowmobilers, skiers, snowboarders out there. So, but still, have a heads up out there. Check this site, Northwest Avalanche Center. Great resource there. Now, this is significant wave height. Put this into motion. You can see some big waves still were going on as of this morning along the Oregon coast, kind of moving up a bit. So kind of be on the lookout for that if you're going out to the ocean today. That goes on in through tonight, shown there. Then we get a little bit of a break here, and then another strong frontal system is going to bring another swell here towards Vancouver Island, Washington, Oregon as you go through the day Wednesday. Then maybe another break there, and then maybe some additional systems on through the future. Nothing too extreme right now, but it doesn't take much to cause some sneaker waves in the wintertime. I mean, you're getting a lot of energy pointed at the coastline here, and you can really cause some big sneaker waves. And I've seen sneaker waves on days that weren't even that stormy out there too. I mean, I've seen run up over 200 feet onto the beaches. I can remember being about 12 or 13 years old, and I was on the Washington coast, and a sneaker wave came up probably 200 feet above the water line, and it washed into the logs and everything, and we got drenched, and it would have been pretty dangerous there had we been caught up in one of those logs that got rolling around there. And that was not even on a stormy day also. So you got to watch out here along the coastline. Never turn your back on the ocean. Be aware that those sneaker waves are out there. And this is kind of a good graphic here. I believe this was from the National Weather Service Portland or Medford, one of the two out there. But this really goes for any time during the fall, winter, and early spring months here along the Oregon, Washington, Vancouver Island coastlines, as many of you guys know. Now here's looking at the long-range European model here. This is 850 millibar temperatures, 5,000 feet. Put this into motion here. And nothing too crazy yet, but then you can start to see the colder air start to build up over Alaska here and start to move down, and we get more of this north flow going across the region here. You can see the west getting a little bit colder than normal, and some more cold air maybe coming down at the very end of the run here too. So this is just a way out in Fantasyland signal right now. We are not even close to trying to pin down any details with a system like this. This is reading the tea leaves that we might turn colder here towards the end of January right now, and that is it. Now, this is looking at the GFS, the ensemble mean here. This is last night's 06Z run, and we'll check after this to see if the 12Z is fully run yet. I know it's running right now, but we'll put this into motion here. I think the GFS kind of shows what potentially may happen a little bit better here. See the ridging going on here? It's still a little bit close here, but watch as it starts to back up here, and that starts to allow some of this colder air to move in across BC and portions of Northwest North America, shown here as we go on into the end of January. A ridge out here would be very favorable for colder than normal conditions here across Northwest North America here, which includes the Pacific Northwest, of course. Okay, now we're taking a look at the GFS, the 12Z run. As we said, we would take a look at this also. Let's speed ahead, and we're going out a bit. Now we're out over hour 200 here, and you can see the ridge here, pretty similar to the 06Z here, starts to retrograde here, but we're only at hour 270 here, but you can see kind of the similar retrograde of the high pressure system there allows for that colder weather here across Northwest North America. So that signal still exists here as of this morning's run, but right now this is purely just fantasy at this point. And here's that European Pacific North American oscillation here. This is the ensemble run here. Again, continues to show us dipping down in negative territory as we go towards the end of January right now. So it's just a signal at this point. I mean, it's always just something to look forward to now, but purely a fantasy forecast. So anyway, we have this low pressure system moving up over the region. This rain's probably going to start pretty soon here across a lot of the Puget Sound here, but then maybe a dry day tomorrow, it looked like here for Western Washington, Oregon, then switches that precip to Southwest BC and Vancouver Island, and that stronger frontal system probably coming in Tuesday night in through Wednesday across the region. We'll watch that day by day here as well, and we'll see what kind of winds and precip that's going to bring also. And we'll continue to watch that cold signal out in through the extended forecast and see how that trends as we go. But yeah, turn on your notifications, click like, click subscribe. If you want to join, click the join button down below the video here. And yeah, help support the channel. The word is getting out across the Pacific Northwest here. Let's try to spread the word here, this positive weather community that we have here across Pacific Northwest, and try to get more people involved. And so yeah, I will talk to you guys in tomorrow's briefing, and hope you're having a good day.